says Ashereth was honored as a fertility goddess in various forms and with varying names. Judges 3 and 7. The Bible does not actually describe the goddess, but archaeologists have discovered figurines believed to be representations of her. Like we said in the last video, that a lot of these deities were women deities. That's like today women are elevated in a white man's kingdom, that is. In ours, women are going back into their natural place under the man, looking after the children and doing her duties of a woman, not trying to act like she's got testicular fortitude, like she's got balls. Okay. It says there, she is portrayed as a nude female, sometimes pregnant, with exaggerated breasts that she holds out permanently as symbols of the fertility she promises her followers. Many titties. There's one with the many titties. Yeah. The Bible indicates that she was worshipped near trees and poles called Asherah poles. Asherah poles. Deuteronomy 7 and 5, 12 and 2 to 3, 2 Kings 16 and 4, 2 Kings 17 and 10, Jeremiah 3 and 6 to 13, Ezekiel 6 and 13. Cultic practices. Baal's worshippers appeased him by offering sacrifices, just like the white man sacrifices today, because he's appeasing his deities, Satan. Baal is Satan worship, yeah? So the white man worships the ancient deities, like we said, of antiquity, and a lot of them was into human sacrifice, especially sacrifice of children, yeah? Yule log, like when you have a prior to this, I've done one prior, and it says here, Baal's worshippers appeased him by offering sacrifices, usually animals such as sheep or bulls. 1 Kings 18:23. Then they moved on to children. Some scholars believe that the Canaanites also sacrificed pigs, and that God prohibited his people from eating pork, in part to prevent this horrible cult from being established among them. Because a pig is an unclean animal. It tells you that in Deuteronomy, Leviticus, the 11th chapter. Okay, read that, what you can eat and what you can't eat. We couldn't even touch pigs because they're a disgusting animal to the sight of the Lord. He created them to be the garbage consumptionists of the earth. Okay, and it says, see Isaiah 65 and 1 to 5, for example, of Israel's participating in the pagan practices of the Canaanites. At times of crisis, Baal's followers sacrificed their children. See, there you go. We're not supposed to put our children through the fire. And this is what that's why the Lord put the Canaanites, he wanted us to put the Canaanites to death because of child sacrifice. The Lord hates that. And that's why he hates Whitey, the Edomites, because they're still into that today. They sacrifice children and eat a certain part of them. The Jewish people drink their blood with their matzah balls, they said. Yeah. That's why he's going to get rid of Esau. Esau's the only nation he's going to have no mercy on. He's going to get rid of the Edomites. There's not going to be one of the house of Esau remaining. He's going to get rid of every single Edomite. Thus saith the Lord. Yeah. And it says, at times of crisis, Baal's followers sacrificed their children, apparently the firstborn of their community, to gain personal prosperity. The Bible called his practice detestable. Deuteronomy 12:31, Deuteronomy 18 and 9 to 10. God specifically appointed the tribe of Levi as his special servants in place of the firstborn of Israelites. Appointed the tribe of Levi as his special servants in place of the firstborn of his Israelites. Who was that? That was Reuben. Reuben was the firstborn, but he slept with his father's concubines. Yeah. And it says, in place of the so they had no excuse for offering their children, right? But we started to practice of Canaanites, send our children through the fire. Numbers 3 and 11 to 13, the Bible repeated condemnation of the children's sacrifice, shows God hated of it, especially among his people. He despised it. Asherah was worshipped in various ways, including through ritual sex. Okay, that's why the white man's into his fornication today. Ritualism, he always shows that as sex rituals. In order for you to have a contract, you got to do the casting couch. You know what I mean? You got to do sex rituals, you know. Take it in the butt if you're a man, and carpet munch if you're a woman. Do eat all kind of fecal matter and all semen and all drink semen and all kind of madness. Yeah. You know what the white man's about. The Edomites, they're the devil the Bible speaks of. And it says, although she was believed worship Asherah for various ways, including through sexual ritual sex. Although she was believed to be Baal's mother, she was also his mistress. Pagans practiced sympathetic magic. That is, they believed they could influence the gods' actions by performing the behavior they wished the gods to demonstrate. Believing the sexual union of Baal and Asherah produced fertility. Right, that's why we got the bunny, we got Easter, the bunny and the egg. The bunnies have lots of sex, and the egg worship represents fertility. Okay, the Esau is, like I was saying, is recreating the ways of the ancients, yeah, in these holidays, yeah, in these demon days, I call them. Right, and it says here, their worshippers engaged in immoral sex to cause the gods to join together, ensuring good harvests. This practices became the basis for religious prostitution. 1 Kings 14:23 to 24. The priest or a male member of the community represented Baal. The priests or female members female members of the community represented Baal. The priestess or a female members of the community represented Asherah. In this way, God's incredible gift of sexuality was perverted to the most obscene public prostitution. No wonder God's anger burned against his people and their leaders, because we was taking on the customs of these pagan deities and these demons, yeah? There's a fox over there. Pagan religions in the New Testament. It says here, many, if not all, of the Old Testament gods had disappeared, at least in name. By the time of Yahushua and Mashiach, Beelzebub, based on the Philistines' god Beelzebul, had become a synonym from the prince of demons. Satan, many of the ancient pagan deities lived on, however, now identified with the gods of the Greeks and Romans. See, the white man, he's the one who regurgitated all these deities, yeah? The Romans, the freaks and the Romans, yeah? And we're under that freak and Roman jurisdiction today. That's why everything's all jacked up, man, you know? And it says here, The nations who controlled the people of Israel before and during New Testament times, it is not appropriate to discuss all the gods and goddesses of the Greco-Roman pantheon. However, a few of them were significant in the first century, and some are even mentioned in name in the Bible. The leader of the gods, Zeus, or we get Jesus or Jupiter, to the Romans, took on the role of Baal, regurgitating the old gods. The god of weather and of storms, Artemis, the goddess of childbirth and fertility, and Aphrodite, the goddess of love. You can see in this man's films, he always regurgitates all these deities because he's of Satan. He is the reincarnation of Satan on the earth. This is his job, to bring in all this wickedness. We'll talk about the Edomites, the Caucasian man they call himself, or the white man. And we're living under these deities today. You don't even realize when you worship Easter, when you do Christmas, you're doing all these customs. Artemis and all that, and Aphrodite and Zeus and Jupiter. Alright, and it says here, continued the Asherah cults under a new name, Acts 19:35, but with worship practices that were as immoral as ever. It is said that in Corinth alone there were more than 1,000 prostitutes in Aphrodite's temple. Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, became the namesake for the place of the dead, and even for hell itself. In Matthew 16 and 18, Yahushua Mashiach referred to the gates of Hades, the gates of hell, or the underworld, believed by some to be the grotto at Caesarea Philippi, from which one of the sources of the Jordan River came. The grotto itself was part of the temple complex used in worship of the Greek god Pan. He's got Pan, he's got horns on his head. I got the book at home, the Greeks and that. And it says there, Pan was depicted as an ugly man with horns. There you go, with horns, legs and ears of a goat, the goat of benzene, And it says most stories about him refer of sexual affairs. The worship practices of his followers were no different. Pan was associated with Dionysus, the Greek god of wine and orgies, whose worshippers continued many of the sexual rites of the Old Testament gods of the Baal cult. Dionysus was worshipped in the pagan Decapolis across the Sea of Galilee from the center of Yahushua's ministry. Clearly, though, the names of the gods had changed and people's worship practices had not. Like today, they do the same thing. In order for you to get contracts in Esau's world, you have to do these things, orgies and practices of revelry, let's call it revelry, sexual misdemeanors, And it says, worship practices, no, only the child sacrifice of the Baal cult came to an end with the Greeks and Romans. Well, they've restarted that up again. That's why a lot of children go missing around this time and other times, The solstices, that's when they do their sacrifices, Magic and the cult. Many ancient peoples practice magic. We can talk about that. Harry Potter, all different We used to have a program called Tabitha back in the day. It was about witchcraft, witches and warlocks, yeah, doing spells, yeah. Just like Hollywood is one big spell. Hollywood means hollow wood, where they make the wands to do spells. So there's nothing new. Many ancient peoples practiced magic. They foretold the future by examining animals' entrails or by watching flights of birds. The Greeks had oracles, shrines, where gods supposedly communicated the future to priests and priestesses. Yeah, these are their priests of Baal. Today they got them Jesuits. Same thing, nothing new. Yeah. Demon possession was a topic of much fascination. Many sorcerers claimed to have the ability to cast out demons. Acts 8 to 9 to 24, Acts 13 to 6 to 12, as did some Pharisees, because the Bible in both the Old Testament and the New Testament recognized the reality of the demonic world and condemned all of its practices. Just today, we just had Christmas. That's totally demonic, right? Everything this Caucasian, this Edomite is forwarding, is projecting in this world is demonic, because he is a demonic soul. He's the child of sin. The Bible talks about, yeah, who's been revealed now. We know who that child is. It's the Greco-Romans, yeah, the Edomites. And it says here, Deuteronomy 18 to 10, Deuteronomy 12 to 20, Micah 5 and 2, Micah 5 and 10, 1 Corinthians 10 to 20 to 21. We can be sure these practices continue and were a temptation to many. Yep, especially when you have no morals and you have no culture, you're a vulture, so this is what you do. And plus you got the spirit of Satan in you, so you're gonna swing, you Edomites are gonna swing to the dark side, as they say. Yahushua Mashiach provided the ultimate solution to resisting the seductiveness of pagan idol worship. He showed that he alone held power over the demons, yep, because he's the son of the living power. The demons itself, Job 1 and 6 tells you that Satan come amongst the children of God. So Satan is one of God's children on the left hand side. He's under his total control. He don't never disobey the one they call God, Yahweh. He does all of his orders, okay, through his deities, through his demons. He controls the demons on the left hand side, Satan, yeah. And it says here, he showed that alone held the power over demons, sending them into the abyss. Luke 8:31. He promised his disciples that his church would become, it would overcome all evil, even the gates of Hades itself. Conclusion. Let's get to the conclusion. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Keep his commandments, yeah? Conclusion. Though today our gods, such as money, power, and possessions, are less personalized than in ancient times, the temptations for us are no less enticing. We would do well to remember the complete powerlessness of the pagan gods, from Baal, Canaan's bloodthirsty fertility god, to Hades, Greek god of the underworld, to prevail against the one true God and his son, Yahushua Mashiach, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So there you have it, man. Right, and there's the that deity we're looking at here. It goes back to Pan, right? That's the deity there. The Canaanite god, yeah? That's him there. So let's finish with his picture. Let's see his picture again. There you go. That's him there. This was a deity what used to yam up your babies, used to burn your babies too, yeah? You Israelites and you other gods. And so and you other people, because we took on the customs of the Canaanites. This is a Canaanite god, yeah? right? And today, the white man worship him. Basically, it's Satan, yeah? Goat head and all that madness, yeah? The bull, yeah? So I'm going to say, Kol Halal, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Akim, pushing this worthy trade from sincerity. Yeah, once again, bringing down new Esau's strongholds. Yeah, the truth shall set you free. Yeah, I'm going to say, Kwam Yasharallah, and Wa Abba Babor, destruction to Babylon. Yeah, Shalom.